podcast. We have a special guest today, Taki freaking Udon. Taki, welcome backy. All right, welcome back, bud. You're here with me, Thor, and as always, Stubbs.
Yeah.
Taki, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're great, man. We're just loving all.
We're making the time difference work right now.
Oh, we are.
I just woke up. You guys are about to go to sleep.
Yeah, I've been drinking a little bit, if I'm going to be honest with you. So
there you go. That's ready.
I gotta grab a beer. I gotta go do that.
All right,
in a few minutes.
Oh man, so we have had quite the 2 or 3 months, just this last few months with all this crazy stuff going on. Oh my gosh, we've had so many x86 handhelds. We have the RP3 that came out. We've got Anbernic upcoming with a bunch of things. Yeah, right there. What are you most excited for, man?
There is one handheld from a friend of mine that is supposed to be ready in the next month or so, and I think based on the price that he's going to sell it at and what it can do, I'm pretty excited for that.
Any hints on who this friend is?
Any hot? Yeah,
it's a pretty powerful device. I've been following it since like October, so I'm ready for it to finally be done. Yeah.
Well, any specs on it? Anything you can drop? I know Shroud of Mystery, but
it's pretty powerful. It's like one of the top tier.
I mean, am I playing PS3 on it?
On Android? No, it's an Android device.
It's an Android device.
Okay. Am I playing Switch on it?
You could. Yeah, you could.
Are we
all right
talking about the KTR1 by any chance here? Is that
No. We're not talking about that.
Oh, okay. No. All right. Not talking about that.
No.
Well, the only other one that I know about
No, Thor.
is something by Gao Fang that may be coming out. I'm not sure.
There will be no leaks on my end.
We're not talking about the Game Force Chi 2, are we?
I guess also the Logitech device could be interesting.
Oh, the Gru 6?
Right. Oh, old Gru 6.
Oh, the Gru 6.
I am Groot.
That's what makes me think of.
Where did they come up with that name? Why would they think that that's okay to talk about at all?
I think like when you originally do your model number, you just like pick random stuff. So it'd be like G for G Cloud, and then there must have been some other prototypes or something. I have no idea.
Yeah. Revision.
But that's going to be like the first major device that we've had from a company in a long time. So
first party.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And hopefully that's going to be like somebody else is going to see, hey, we can make money doing that too. And then
well, I mean, we heard about a Razer handheld at one point, and then we've been hearing about a Qualcomm Tencent thing at
This is the Qualcomm Tencent thing.
This has
to be.
It is the Logitech thing is.
But I don't know what Tencent did for this. I don't know if they just gave money or what. There are things that Tencent could do in a project, but like if you guys remember the 1X player when that came out, I still to this day have no idea what Tencent did in that partnership. And I went to Tencent and I still left not knowing what Tencent did.
That's fantastic.
And to this day, I'll never know what that French lady
like
was
I just
saying.
know that the meeting was held there. I don't know what Tencent did in the project at all, and the branding for Tencent wasn't even there on the international release.
Present.
Maybe they were like a shadow investor. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
They have their hands in so many pots.
Well, it's interesting to me because I personally think that Nintendo is going to announce something new next year for what we call them corpo handheld, right? So I think Nintendo is going to try to sweep the market and keep it mobile, right? Like they did with the Switch. Hopefully with something quite a bit more powerful than the Tegra X1 at this point, which is super old. We were just talking about
Tegra X1 Plus.
X1 Plus. We were just talking about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and how the Tegra X1 is kind of hampering the power that could be happening there, especially since it's an open world game. So,
it's definitely getting in the way now.
Yeah,
it's way too old, but they're milking that for all it's worth.
Oh yeah. Well, they had Xenoblade Chronicles 3 come out, and I'm sitting here watching some of the gameplay online, like, oh, you poor bastards! You need to wait to do this on the next gen. It's kind of not like as bad as Cyberpunk, but it wasn't great.
The Switch is like the weirdest handheld where emulating it is actually getting to be significantly better than using the actual device.
It is. It really is. Watching people,
But it's not like that for any other system. Like PS3 is not there yet.
No.
Because a lot of stuff doesn't even work that well.
Yeah.
Xbox 360 isn't there yet. And definitely not any of the ones that are after that. But Switch is just like by far getting to be better to emulate.
Well, the 360 and Xbox and stuff, they have that nice backwards compatibility, you know, so it's kind of all the way up. But yeah, PS3, because of that weird processor choice that they decided to make at that time. And then I know a bunch of people who played the new Kirby game and Metroid Dread on their Steam Decks. So
yeah, you might as well.
Yeah,
you might as well.
And Taki, you finally got a Steam Deck, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I watched the harrowing journey you went through for that. So you finally got one. You had to buy it after market, right?
Yeah.
Locally, and then
I have two now.
You have two.
But
which ones?
Yeah, I have two now. I have one that I bought, and then I have one that Valve gave me.
Oh, well, that's
after I made that video.
They finally did send you one. They're like, "Hey,
yes, they did.
Here's a Steam Deck." Did they give you the best of the best, or the 64? Or
they gave me a 512 one.
Nice,
good.
It's actually interesting seeing the differences between the one that I have that I bought and then the one that I just got, because I think the one that I bought is a Q1 model.
Okay.
And the one that I just got is the latest batch.
Okay.
So I can see differences between the two. I can see some things got better, and then some things. Yeah, the screen. Well, I haven't done them. I have to post after we're done with this. I have to do some post processing. It's the next video that I'm working on, and the only thing that I didn't do was test out the new screen, but the screen is not the same.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, like if they're off, if the screen is off, you can see that it's a different panel.
So they took a page out of AYN and Retroid's book, right?
Said, let's swap the screen mid process.
So, no, it's like when you start the project. So they might have thought to themselves, like, okay, for this project, we need to sell like 50,000 units or something like that. So we check if all of our components for this work for that. And they're like, yeah. Then you might get some padding. So you might say, okay, up to 100,000, we can get all of these panels. But then after that, like if we're blessed enough to be in that situation, then we need to find something else.
Right.
And then this new panel that I have, at least, should be whatever that something else is.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it's that different when it's on, but it might be like it has better contrast ratio or something.
Yeah.
They actually didn't use that good of a screen in this device from the ones that they could have used.
Well, I noticed myself when I got my 512 that the etched glass is quite a bit different. It's not bad different, just it just seemed dimmer isn't the right one. Definitely isn't the right word. I don't know how to explain it. Smoked, I guess, a little bit, little more opaque. I don't know. It still looked great though to me.
I like the one that I have. Like having it and then using devices that don't have the etched glass. Like I didn't know that I liked that before getting it, and now I like it. But I can kind of get what you're saying. Like it does have kind of that smoky. It is dimmer from what people have said, but
just like, I mean, just a hair though. I mean, if someone just handed it to you, you wouldn't. I don't think you'd notice anything off with it, you know. But if you're sitting there comparing them side by side, I will say though that the 64 and 256, that glare is crazy on those models though. Oh my gosh, there's no way I could use that near a window or anything.
Yeah, when I'm filming the 512, it's just like so amazing. Even if you have some lighting on the table, it's so diffuse. It doesn't even look that bad. So but if I was using some other device, it'd be like every reflection needs to be killed.
Yeah.
We noticed that.
So what I'm hearing is there's a Gen 2 or a version 2 Steam Deck that no one's talking about, basically.
I saw one video of somebody talking about Q1 and Q3, but he talks about stuff that I'm not seeing. And then I found other stuff that is worse. Like I found one thing that's worse, but a bunch of stuff that's better. And I don't know if the things that are better are the same for everybody, if they had these Q1 and Q3, or if my first one is just messed up because somebody like borked it before they sold it.
That could be
to the person who sold it to me.
Gotcha.
Well, what's worse in the new one?
the trackpad haptics on my Q3 model are like way worse than the first one. Even if I set
What?
the Q3 one to max strength, it's not even anywhere close to the Q1's like default strength.
So you're not getting that rumble.
And I was
okay.
trying to think of like, would I have noticed that this was a problem if I didn't have two? And I was
Right.
like, yeah, definitely would notice. Like this thing just feels like a wet noodle. Like,
Oh wow. Okay.
it's not good.
Yeah.
Wow.
That much different.
Well,
That's something to watch out for.
Yeah, I have a new one coming in about a month or two, and so I guess I should compare between my 512s. That's super interesting.
Are your trackpads on the left and the right? Are the haptics the same?
I think so on mine. Yeah.
Yeah, I went
I'd
through.
have to pull it out and test.
I put in the GuliKit sticks, right, the hall sensor ones, and then I had to go through all the calibration and everything like that. Everything seemed great at the end. I mean, it was definitely the haptic feedback, and then the sticks actually required a little bit more calibration than I expected it to, but once I resoldered something, it was fine.
That's interesting. I mean, there's always replacement parts that I could buy in the future, but I really want to open up the first one that I bought to find out like what's going on there, because I had originally thought that the person who sold it to me just like faked that it was a 512 because I couldn't test that it was.
Yeah.
Because when I got the device, I couldn't put in my password because I needed the code that's generated whenever you log in on a new device.
Right.
And I was not at my house when I bought it. I was like an hour away. So I was like, I really hope that this thing is a 512 model. But I was looking at the screen. I was like, okay, the screen definitely is. So if he tried to sell me something that wasn't a 512, like what did he do? Open it up and then take out the motherboard and then give me just the screen? That seems so stupid. Nobody would do that.
He pulled the NVMe and put a 64 gigibyte eMMC in
there.
Yeah. I say,
or you know, like those fake flash drives that report a different size than it's actually there. It's like just a grain of rice and a PCB inside the package.
Oh man,
those bastards.
We were talking about glare, and something I noticed when we were doing our live stream on the RP3, where we did a teardown and just a little bit of a performance review, was how reflective these screens were, and you could like see my mouth moving and like my beard waving in the wind in the reflection because I was leaning over it, taking it apart,
just getting wispy.
Yeah, just getting wispy. Oh man.
Yeah, I wish more people would do the anti-glare screen. I have no idea how much money it costs to do it, but it's like it's a nice value-added feature.
I wish that they would
like
include
the case difference on the 512 isn't worth it for me, but the screen glare is pretty cool as an upgrade.
I wish that they would include anti-glare screen protectors. I think that would be a good feature.
Oh yeah.
So, but no, this was
That's
actually
a little cheaper to do probably.
This was actually the first time in my
stock screen.
My entire life that I applied the screen protectors perfectly 2 times in a row. First time I've ever done that. Never going to happen again.
You should get an award.
Oh,
I'm going to call Guinness right now. They're going to go to your house. We certify.
I'm going to give myself a roll in RH just a second.
The champion of the champions.
Screen protector boss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I take screen protectors very seriously. That's like my main thing.
Yeah,
I have so many extra screen protectors off camera here.
He gives me guff though, because every time I send him a device, it never has a screen protector on it though.
You did once though.
Which one?
You sent me one once. I don't know.
It was probably pre-applied.
The Retroid Pocket 1 or something.
That was
really?
Definitely
yeah, maybe that's the case.
Yeah, no way. There's no way. I'm awful at it. Well, I'm freaking horrendous at it.
Well, should we pivot and get into some of the hot stuff? I know we're talking about the Win600 this weekend because we're getting a review ready finally for that. I just installed Batacera on it for the first time. So that's a whole wonky
16 gigabyte DIMM as well. Don't forget that. That's a big upgrade.
Yeah, I got that 16 gigabyte RAM upgrade. But I'm trying to find, like Taki, in our review, I'm trying to find some of the same issues you came across. And I think I have to pull the screen protector off to see that one.
Yeah, you definitely have to pull the screen protector off to be able to see it. And the only reason why I know this is because when the two clowns that run the Facebook group were like trying to prove that this didn't happen.
Yeah.
They were taking videos and pictures of the device, the screen protector on, and I was like, "You guys
Right.
can't be this stupid."
Right.
Like,
You
of
gotta take it
course,
off
the
to see
screen
that.
protector isn't scratched. Why would the screen protector company sell you a scratched screen protector? It
Right.
doesn't make any
Right.
sense.
But can you see
But
the micro
they were like,
scratches at all with the screen protector on? It means there's some
no, you
angle?
can't. No, it's impossible to see it with the screen protector on because
But
you're
it's-
just seeing the reflections from the most, you know,
Yeah.
the screen that's
No,
present to you.
But it's not about that. It's about having a damaged device, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's about knowing that underneath that there's going to be all these
Okay.
micro scratches.
all right, that is fair because even like simple stuff like with my Odin, right? When I set it on the table and slide it a little bit, those grip bumps, right? The booty cheeks on the backside get like a little polished.
Yeah, I know.
Right? You
They
know what
get a
I'm talking
line.
about? Yeah,
They
they
get a
get that
line.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I think the only thing that there should be a lot of devices that can have that problem, but I think even like the Aya Air should technically
Yeah.
because everything is the same. They would probably need like a rubber there, something like the GameSir controller for that to not happen. But yeah, I
Yeah.
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That
Or-
happened.
Or take
That
a page
happened
out of,
way back, even on like the 3D printed ones.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
or they could take a page out of Anbernic's book and get the rubber bumpers that they're still putting on
no, that's
devices.
dumb stuff.
Have you gotten to try out the RG either the 353V or the 505 yet? Have you seen those in action?
The 505 first existed for me like back in July of last year, but it was
Okay.
just like a 3D printed thing. So
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if I can say this or not. So nah, I probably shouldn't.
That's okay.
Well, we finally got
shouldn't say
our,
that, no.
our 353
My job
Ps
to ask
in.
provocative questions.
We finally got our 353 Ps in, and I've actually been pretty happy with it so far. I'm not sold on the SNES style controller. I know a lot of people love that, right? They think that's really cool. But I was a huge fan of the 351V, in case people who watched the 3326 live stream didn't notice. And so for the 353V to be coming out, that's going to be exciting for me.
Yeah. Yeah, the 353V
with the dual analogs.
Yeah, the dual analogs, and I'm not quite sold on the dual analog placement though.
No.
I kind of want
There
to.
is. I don't know if this is like there is a better device that has that style that's in the future somewhere.
Okay.
That is definitely a much better design than
Like
the 353V. But I don't know when it's going to release.
Like the GKD Mini Plus?
No,
Plus
not
Classic?
that.
Okay.
Not that.
That
Dude,
also has that same.
There is like
I can't
there
believe
is like a
this is
perfect one somewhere out there. It's like nearly perfect. I don't
has
know
the
when
nipple
it's going to come
buttons?
out. It looks like $1 million, and it should perform much better than that one.
Good.
But I'm still excited for the vertical one because we don't get
Yeah.
a lot of them.
No, we don't.
Yeah, no, we really don't.
The
that
last
makes
vertical
sense.
that I really tried to crack open and get something done on was the A20 for me, which we talked about the firmware and stuff like that. Man, what a mess. Man, we worked on that. Shout out to Jay Dewitt. He and I screwed around with that stuff for 2.5 months before we were just like, what are we doing? Why is this like
that's
this?
when I've
Pow Kitty.
Yeah, that's
Bless
one I
their
still
hearts.
haven't. That's one I still haven't touched yet.
Well, it was
They
nice.
actually want to do a good job though too. It's just like you don't know what you don't know. So
Right.
when they're getting like somebody to do the solution for them, they're just like, okay, give me a gaming device, and then the person comes back and gives them the software for it. But they're not like,
Right.
give me a gaming device and then also allow other people to do stuff with it.
Right.
That's like a completely different thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then I mean, J-Links doesn't give out their stuff, so we've tried.
So what are we left to do?
Yep. That's too bad.
Those guys are so strange.
They are.
And I've been on calls with them too, like
Mhm.
a 4-way call on trying to get them to do it, and they're like not having it. at all.
Why?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
They're like so protective of this stuff, but I'm like, you realize nobody really cares about these processors outside of this gaming device. Like,
Right.
Nobody's going to use this for a phone right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Nobody's going to use it for a phone. Yeah, exactly. None of these devices, I mean, I can't think of a single one that has like a front-facing camera or something like that to even use with Discord or whatever,
No.
None of them, because there's no point, as a communication device. We're after it for the processor and the operating system. But like the 2 Plus and the RP3, people are actively asking for Linux for it, and I feel bad having to break it to them that Unisoc doesn't really give out Linux source or anything like that, even if they even exist to begin with,
Taki, what's your favorite type of noodles?
Oh, these are the hard-hitting questions.
There it is. Watch out.
Spaghetti.
Agreed.
No, I really
actually.
do like udon noodles.
Mhm.
Okay. I was gonna say
It has nothing to do with the name, but I really do like them.
why did you pick this name? Why did you pick that name?
I had a different Taki name and for a different channel, and then I was like, okay, I got to make a different one just for this. And then I was like, I should just stay with food.
Mhm.
So
Right.
then I was like, okay, udon. It's not
Yep.
something that you spend too long thinking about. You just like do it and then you go.
Right. Yeah, same for us. We're like retro and handhelds,
Right.
I guess. The most generic name ever, but
Well, we already had RH.
it describes what we like to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Thor came up with my nickname. I was called Stubborn Pixel. I thought that was a very cultured gamer name at the time, because I'm a stubborn dude, and I like to do things that are pixelated.
Right.
But you started calling me Stubbs, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, no, that's my name.
Oh, I thought
Right.
that was your own nickname. I didn't know
What-
he gave it to you.
It went from
Thor
Stubborn
handed
Pixel
handed it down.
to, I think it was Stubbsy Wubsy for a couple weeks there. Hey, Stubbsy Wubsy.
Oh, was it?
Stubbsy
Was it
Wubsy.
Stubbsy Wubsy?
Yeah.
Thor.
And then it just got real short to Stubbs. So
And Thor is Thor with an exclamation mark.
right.
That's something I'll
Exclamation mark,
never
like
get
Norm.
right.
Right. Thor.
Yeah.
Right.
Norm.
Right.
Thor. And you
That's
were given that at birth, so
Well, I was given that by my mother.
You were given that
easy
at
one.
birth.
I was given that by my mother. So yeah.
and your father Odin.
Yes.
Yes.
Wotan. How is little
Speaking
Wotan?
of the Odin, a little Wotan's good. He's 9
Yeah.
months old. He is trying
Yeah.
to walk right now. Today he said his first word, which was "dada."
Dada.
So,
Oh, okay.
just
I
saying.
thought it was going
Really?
to be like Pow Kitty
Really?
or something like that. Like
Well, he's the Pow child, but no, it was I won. My wife and I will be having an argument about this later, but I think what he said, the utterance he made was "dada."
Dada.
I'm gonna go to my grave with that. Yeah,
I respect it.
yeah. So speaking of, well, you just had a baby.
I did.
Thor.
I
You birthed one. Not
Yeah,
for
I
you.
birthed
I mean,
one.
not
Yeah.
you, but
No,
I
he's doing great. He's super smart and he farts a lot. If I can be honest with you, he got that one honestly.
yeah, he's a pooper.
You got that
Yes.
one from someone.
right.
Low
from
Modi.
someone.
Yeah.
Low Modi, yeah. But no, he's
Thor, are you a
great.
gassy man?
A little bit.
I don't know. Should we
Little
just
bit.
Just a
derail the
little- little-
podcast
We'll
right now?
on our next buddy podcast. Let's talk about Pizza King. Because I have a whole story
Okay.
about Pizza King for that. So it'll be good.
Yeah, Taki, have you ever eaten a 42-inch cheese pizza?
No, but I'm listening.
Okay,
I'm
so here's
here
what we
for
do. We have a LAN party
Mhm.
of all the handheld content creators, and we just have the best pizza party in the world.
Right.
42-inch cheese pizzas, all the fixins,
Mm-hmm.
beer. We hold it in Germany or somewhere crazy like that.
Well, we every now and then we joke about RHCon, but I mean, we could totally do that.
RHCon.
Yeah.
That's right. We
So
celebrate handhelds.
Some of the
in person.
creators could come in like in disguise, and nobody would know who they are. They'd just be like, "Oh, this is
And
somebody
be
that never
judges.
talks in RH," And it's Taki.
That's right. We haven't
You're
seen
just
it.
hanging out.
We haven't seen a Taki face reveal.
Oh,
Where
no.
is that? I'm sure everyone is asking, what is the udon? What does the noodles look like? Because I'm pretty sure
I don't
he's
think
not
anybody's.
actually a
I don't
cup
think
of
anybody's
noodles.
asking that.
Nobody's asking.
Everybody's
that.
everybody's
What is the
wondering.
udon
I don't think
look
anybody's
like?
asking that.
How are the noodles made?
I mean, is there a
That's what we need to
goatee?
know.
Is there a beard? I don't know.
Right now, my facial hair looks pretty much like Stubbs.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's fair.
Bearded.
Beard,
In that case,
bearded
you were one of
dudes
us.
talking about handhelds. Where have I heard this before?
Somewhere, I think they call that a podcast.
Podcast. That's right. Oh, right here. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Odin, should we dig into that? So we
Yeah,
have a
let's talk about
Pro,
Odin.
and I finally got a light.
You finally
I've
got
been
your
looking
cold
for a
gray light that you've been after
a
for
cold gray
fucking
light
forever.
with
Jeez.
a V1 screen. It took me so long to track down
Mhm.
a V1 screen with upgraded battery in cold gray, but it's
You bought it
128
used?
gigs. I bought it used on eBay. Some blessed soul put this up for retail cost up on eBay.
Ooh.
Holy crap!
And I saw
dude.
it land, and I got it within like 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, because he's like, I don't want to scalp. I just want to add in the eBay fees, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I said, fair. I'll take it right now. Offered him what he was asking, which was like,
It was buy it now?
it was buy it now.
Wow.
It's like $380 or something. It was totally reasonable. Came with the upgrade kit and the plastic case and all that, all the fixins.
That plastic
128
case is
gigs,
garbage.
6,000
That thing's a piece of
milliamp
crap.
hour battery. It
don't-
is. I don't use it.
I don't
but,
understand
you know,
it at
it's
all. I
fine.
have like 4 of them now, and it's awful.
Either way, dude, I'm stoked on this. I finally get to test the Odin Light and do a little review on it. So
Yeah.
you have a couple Odin Lights too.
We're gonna talk about the screen comparisons and stuff here soon. So
Yeah.
we
see.
were talking about that
We'll see.
earlier. So Taki, about the Odin Light, what do you think about it so far with some of the updates to the OS and stuff that they've had?
Outside of like the shipment being, glacial, is that a word you can use
Yeah,
for
glacial,
measuring
yeah,
the
yeah.
speed?
Slow.
Glacial, the speed of their shipments, it's not bad. But I have the one that Stubbs has. I don't have the one that's using the second screen. So
I
Gotcha.
mean, I want to try the second screen just to see. I mean, people like that it's 60 hertz at least, but that power drop.
But
for
the
me
first
was a big
one,
no.
the first one was already supposed to have been switched to being 60 hertz,
Really?
but they just
Okay.
never did it. So
What the hell, AYN?
I have no idea.
Well, that
I have no
seems to
words.
be
I asked, like, could you do it? They're like, yeah, we're definitely going to do it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to tell people that you're doing it. And then they were like, nah, we're not doing that.
Why not? Money?
I have no idea.
yeah.
So
Well,
I have a V2.
the whole thing about getting it to 61 is actually like super complicated. And
Mhm.
I was led to believe when it was happening that 61 was the only thing that was possible with, all of the different pieces going together.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's actually true or not, because it's not true on the light, and that has some of the same pieces.
Mhm.
So, I don't know if somebody's bullshitting me or not. But yeah,
It's possible.
they should have already switched it back.
Oh
Well-
well. I have a V1 light that I paid scalp prices for just to get the V1, and then I have my actual V2 that came in. I haven't opened up the box yet, but that'll have the second screen. They did that thing with the UFS eMMC upgrade and the RAM upgrade and I just saw that they put out a new
did?
update saying that it's going to take like a lot longer if you still want the 4 and 64. So like
So
a lot
stupid.
longer.
So stupid.
I thought you need the 6 and
Yeah.
64 on the light for
I think
it
it's
to work
128.6.
correctly. Okay. Which
So,
is why.
Which I paid the
understand that.
$25 upgrade.
so
because why
confused.
not?
Sure.
But the 4 and 64 is still like it's going to be a while before people get theirs. Apparently, I don't know.
Right. No,
They changed like what you could do if you had that twice already. So originally it was like you have 3 options. One of them is you can keep your order, and it's going to take a little longer to get it.
Mm-hmm.
That little longer to get it thing should have already passed, because
Right,
when
seriously.
that message went out, that was already 2 months ago.
Right.
Yeah, it's already.
Oh, wow,
Then-
that was 2 months ago, wasn't it?
Then they just kept it like allowing people to say what they want,
Mm-hmm.
like longer than a week, and then they changed it to like 2 updates ago. You couldn't even keep the one that you had if it was a 4+64. You had to cancel or change.
Yeah.
And then in this next one, they're like, turns out a lot of people don't want to do that. So yeah, now we have some other dumb solution to go with.
Well,
I mean, the 4+64 works because like I have it, other people have it. It can work. You don't need to do any dumb shit.
well, that's confusing then because
You can
they're kind of acting like there's something wrong with it or something. Like it's just a bad option.
It's just like MTK has a set of parts that they have verified can work with any given thing that they sell.
Right.
So they have processor like 1000. They've tested all of these things on the market and they verified that those can work with it with no problems. So if you want to use processor 1000, then you just buy one of the things from the list and then you don't have to worry about anything outside of, regular QA.
Right.
But this processor that they have has no verified part for 4+64. And that means you have to go and verify each one yourself.
Right.
Now, you can get one that can work, but you have to test it a lot to make sure it can work. And it doesn't take that long to test it. Like one person can test one and make a determination whether or not it can work within like 2 minutes or so. So that's like the extra time taken. But if it can't work after that 2 minutes, then you have to change the chip to a different one and then try it again. So there's a failure rate of this. There's so let's say the failure, this isn't the actual failure rates, but let's say the failure rate is 40%. So 40% of the time you're going to have to switch to a different chip. So you're going to lose that time making the 4+64s, but eventually you're going to get enough to ship out.
Right.
And as long as you don't let people buy more, then you can end the whole thing. That's what they should have done. That's what they said that they were going to do. And then they just decided to not do that.
That sucks.
Oh, but they knew that they were going to have to do all of this before the campaign started.
Yeah.
Well,
so
they had such a good product in the Odin Pro and the Odin base. I feel like they could have left it there.
I kind of
feel
feel
like, in general, good job on that one.
I kind of feel like the Pro was maybe not even needed at this point, doing some of the game comparisons between the Pro and the base.
Unless you want Windows, yeah.
Windows.
But for Android, it seems like 4 gigs is fine. I mean, the base has been good. What I want to know with AYN, though, is what the hell's going on with Loki, man? I see videos being taken down. I see just slow progress, no actual prototypes. I saw a PCB reveal a few days ago.
What videos got taken down?
I just saw that like Boothman posted that they had removed some videos from their YouTube channel.
About Loki?
About Loki. So it put people in a frenzy. Okay, maybe this isn't happening. Maybe they're canceling or maybe they're doing something else.
Oh, I never heard about that.
Okay, well, then it's hearsay.
I have no idea. I've told people like they had all of the stuff like lined up to be able to do videos on every model that they had. Like you could film a device, somebody would be playing that device and you could see what it could do.
Yeah.
Like a month into the release window, they had a person that was going to do it. They had all of the hardware like squared away, and then like they just didn't do it. Makes no sense. And like that person didn't go on to do anything else. So it's not like that person was busy with anything else. They just like didn't do anything at all. So I don't know why you'd release a product and then like not promote it. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But
I don't understand that either.
We've been talking with various community members and various content creators about the power differentials between the AYN Loki stuff and the AYANEO Air stuff, and man, it's getting even more convoluted as it goes on because of battery power and things like that with these x86 chips that are nowhere near as efficient as the ARM chips that are in the Android and Linux based handhelds.
Right, but but for the Loki SKUs that they have, like it operates at the rated TDP of the system. It's not like handicapped in any way, artificially or So if somebody else has that same processor, you can do the same things that they can theoretically, unless this is AYN, so like anything could happen. It could be divided by 0 when the product is finally ready to come out. But like right now, it should be 1-to-1.
Oh man.
Well, so AYN is called All You Need. Maybe it should be called Ask Your Noodles.
Ask your noodles.
Ask your noodles.
Yep.
Ask Your Noodles if you want the real story on this, because this is what's going on.
Well, let's do another little pivot here to a closely related situation, the Retroid Pocket 3. Can we talk about this for a little bit?
Yep.
Man, you were so right about that. The white body.
There you go.
Yeah, I have the yellow right here. They did the white glove opening and stuff like that for it, but then when people got it, it was that like off white. What was that about?
It's like a beige.
It's like if you film a video and you want the thing to be white in the video and you know what you're doing, you could make it white in the video. It's so simple to do. And it was so obvious. I told people, I was like, you're surprised that they made the video make it look white? The person who made the video is the person who made this white mistake to begin with.
Really?
Well, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it's the same fucking person. It's the same person.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
It's the same exact person.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody did like the, Taki was right, whatever. So I took
Shem, I think,
that picture. I took the pictures that guy had made, and I sent it to this person who did this mistake. And I said, "You have some fans," and they said, "No, they're your fans." I was like, "I don't think you understand what I mean. Like they're fans of your work. Like you're
right." Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the white one in person yet. I have one on the way. I'm curious to see how much my OCD hates it or not. But if it's just like a PC beige from the 80s kind of white,
like
I'll
you
be okay with it.
Which one of you has the orange one?
I do.
Thor does, right?
Yeah.
Thor does, yeah.
So this one actually kills my OCD. Like it made me have OCD. So the shell, the front and the back shell on that, I think I can say this, like whatever. Yeah. The front and the back shell on that are not the same color. I don't know if you noticed that, or if now you're going to not be able to like not see it anymore. The front and the back are not the same color.
Yeah, the back is a little bit lighter.
No. Oh no.
Okay, so let's just go through the whole gamut now.
I'll breathe here.
The buttons like the shoulder, the menu, the power button. I'm doing this from memory. I don't know. The SD card slot, the ring around the analogs. Those are all supposed to be the exact same color as the shell, but as you can see, they're not.
No, they're absolutely not. They're actually
it's like candy corn situation.
They're actually closer to the color of the back shell. They're much lighter than the front shell. Definitely. I noticed that during the teardown the other day. I thought maybe it was just my lighting, but it looks like those die lots have like a little bit of gray put in them, almost, to me at least.
What?
So it's just the front and the back shell are injected yellow, and then they're painted, and they're not the same. Like, and then the whole like story about why they're not the same is like a huge like
that's a whole thing.
A huge shit that I don't want to get into, but the buttons are also supposed to be painted, and they were originally supposed to be painted so they could look exactly like the render. Yeah. And then it's somewhere in the ether they were like, "Nah, we don't want to paint this. Okay, we just want to like inject it." And I was like, "But it looks like ridiculous. There's like 4 colors on this orange one. Like the purple one is not that. The purple one is not that obvious. Some colors are not that obvious.
Indigo here."
The black looks really solid to me. I didn't notice any wild color differences in the black, but
yeah, the black one is pretty. Like I got a black one fairly recently, like a few days before the launch, and that one is like the rings are a little darker than the front shell, but like that one's not that bad. Yeah. But like some of them are really bad, and the orange one is like the one where you can definitely see all of the differences because
those
fun little anecdote, that color is the most difficult color to get to look like a painted orange color without painting it. It's impossible.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I went on a field trip for this endeavor because I didn't believe that this was like impossible to do. I was like, you can do anything. You can mix anything. So I got to go to a plastic factory, but this plastic factory only gets you the raw material that you'll use to inject.
Right.
So what you get is you have these huge containers, all of these different little beads of plastic, and then you mix them together with some like powder, and then you can get your end goal that you can inject. So they will do this just like by hand. Like
Mhm.
they'll just guess. Like you bring them the thing that you want, and then
Those
you say, okay,
guess?
give me plastic that's close to this. And then they just like fucking like witch doctor that shit together, and then they inject a bunch of crap, and then you look at it and you're like, this doesn't look anything like it. And then they're like, all right, let's go back to the drawing board and try again. So
So
the
they just
bad thing about all
eyeballed
of
it.
this
We're like,
is,
oh,
yeah, it's the only way. It really is the only way, because you just like, you're like, okay, I need more yellow, so okay, put more of the yellow beads in it,
mm-hmm.
and then try it again. But the bad part about this is I got to see like how much pollution there is in doing these kind of products, and it like
Oh no,
it kind of killed my soul. Like,
hurts your soul.
not gonna
Yeah.
lie, like that day I was like, I feel really bad. I think when I left there, because I could see like how much waste was made just to try to do this color matching with the plastic,
Yeah.
and it took like 2 hours. I was like, what do you guys do with all of the plastic that we just like wasted doing this? And they're like, oh, well, I was like, can we use it to like make like recycled shells, like and advertise it as like
Tie-dye or
like a
something.
shell? They're like, no, we don't, we just destroy it, like
Oh,
the factory
no.
that does this. And I was like, I think you guys should just try to sell it as like a byproduct, and then maybe somebody can use it for like
Yeah.
recycling purposes or something like
Yeah.
that. So I tried to push for one day the idea that some companies would use that recycled material to inject like one-off like replacement shells, and
Yeah.
you could buy them at a reduced price, but then also know that you just like didn't fuck the earth, because like
Right.
so much waste is created making
So-
these
Right.
handhelds.
So when you
Yeah,
say
so
destroy,
Taki,
do
do
you
you-
mean burn?
Yeah, they burn it.
Oh,
And it makes so much smoke, you can't
Yeah.
imagine. Like,
Oh, yeah, plastic
I
fire.
really don't like going to the area where this stuff is done,
yeah.
because it's like really, so outside of the factory where this stuff is done, there's like this huge like mom and pop farm,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if I should say this, but the runoff from these factories goes into this drainage, right?
Mhm.
And then you can see this like really beautiful farm, like huge,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just done by two people, like no machines, anything. It's all by hand, but they're getting water from that irrigation. And the irrigation water is the water that you use to rinse off the hot plastic material that you've just formulated.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I was just like, oh my God, we gotta like find something different. Like this isn't it.
Yeah.
Dude, our Western.
So interestingly though, there
Yeah.
will be a time when I can show I'm doing something, some big project in the future,
Mhm.
because I want to be able to show people this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you will eventually be able to see exactly what I'm talking about.
Cool.
So a Taki in China documentary.
No, but it's just like not videos done in my house.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's like
Got it.
outside stuff.
Yeah.
It's out. Okay, well that'll be a lot of fun. And it brings up a good point too. Do you think our nostalgia for our old games is actively destroying our planet? Do you think we're the problem?
Holy shit.
Just us, the
Jesus.
community.
That's a big question,
No.
bro.
We're not like big enough. But if you can see like, yeah,
Sorry,
it's
dude,
not
that
it's
was-
not this.
That was heavy.
It's not this.
Gotta ask. I mean, that's where
Yeah.
my heart was going. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's heavy. It's like, does my need to play Mario again, like I'm 5 years old, where I felt safe, actively destroying my current environment? You know what I mean? Am I contributing to that?
It's very minuscule in
Yeah.
the like the grand scheme of all of the stuff that's happening in
Then I'll
that
keep-
let's
Then I'll keep emulating. Yeah,
You keep
let's get
emulating.
off my back.
We're gonna keep on going.
I
then.
don't feel bad anymore. No.
Oh man.
But there is a cost. Like there's a cost to make these things, and like if you don't see it, then you know. But I got to see it, and I was like, this is not cool.
Well, we make a joke about e-waste all the time on the show. Like I bought this thing, the Family Pocket, little
Awful.
computer guy.
Look at that thing.
And let me turn this on real quick. I mean, this thing it advertised having Wi-Fi, but what they meant is it has a wireless controller.
There you go. That's the same thing.
That's the
same
exact
thing.
same thing.
Like the 20s, Wi-Fi capable.
Little
But you got to
TFT
solder it in
screen.
yourself.
Just one thing I got to say about this thing though is that it doesn't have screen tearing at the $12 price point. So that's
$12.
impressed with that.
Congratulations.
Either way, though, like there's so much stuff on AliExpress that just why is it made? It's so much e-waste
because people
and
buy it.
I get upset when I look at all of it.
Why
they need?
We've talked with Taki
just
about this
buy
before
a
about
few
voting with our
higher-end
wallets
products.
and stuff. You know,
Right?
Specifically,
That's true.
he schooled us in
part of
that
the
first.
dude. We have an affiliate link for this stupid thing. So
No,
if you
Taki
want this
totally
stupid
schooled
thing,
us
you could go
in
buy
that
it.
that second podcast he was on. Just like, don't buy it, then. You know,
Right? Just don't be part of the problem.
right?
Well, very good. So, Taki, recently, you and I almost had our friendship tested. How do you feel that we've learned from
Good
this?
Lord.
Because you're my bro, and I'm also.
I still have no
on the
idea what
air.
happened.
I
still
don't
have
know,
no idea what happened.
And I can barely remember because I've been in a fatherhood brain haze for like the last 9 months. But what I took out of it was, okay, I need to just check in with my buddy Taki every now and again and make sure, like, hey, let's stay in sync. Thor and I run into the same thing. Like, if we don't communicate at least once a week, we just get out of sync, and then we just start butting
Like, what are
heads
you
on
doing?
our
Why are you
opinions on
doing
things. Yeah. Yeah, I know. We'll probably have one tonight. Just us even working on a review tomorrow. We're like, I'm like, hey, I want to do a really in-depth review on the Win600. There was like, no, it needs to be concise, 5 minutes, no more.
Yeah,
so
it needs to be 5 to 8 minutes. Is our
I'm
goal,
gonna
right?
fight
That's
for
it.
8 minutes then. No, 8 minutes. See, we're fighting right now.
We're already knife in the sand. Let's fucking go. I'm flying to Portland
Taki,
tomorrow.
this is probably why. Taki,
Knife
this,
in the sand.
this is why you probably work solo, because you don't have to deal with. See this guy over here. You don't have to deal with any partner nonsense.
Right.
You do everything the way you want to do it. You have a couple mods, no problem.
Oh man.
Will you be our therapist?
Have you guys played the God of War game for the PC?
No, we haven't played it on
No.
PC
Because
yet.
whenever I think of Thor now, I'm just thinking of Thor from God of War and not Thor from Marvel.
Right. No,
He's like
that's
an
a great game.
asshole
I
in that
played it
game.
on PS4 originally.
Yeah, it's a really good
Thor.
game. I was surprised at how good. Like, if you're a father and you play that game, it's so good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, it's such like a
Boy.
That is cool.
Boy.
I'm gonna look that up.
Boy.
yeah, boy.
Just a billion times.
Boy.
Oh man, no, that was a great one. The PS5 re-release, the HD upgrade for the 4K and everything made it even better. And I'm pretty excited for Ragnarok this year. It's
I am too. I think I
This
might buy a
looks so
PS5
good.
just to play it.
Just
Oh,
to
yeah.
do it.
yeah.
Just to play it. Yeah,
Well,
I like
there's
that
that-
game so much.
There's that new PS5 variant that they're coming out with. It's supposed to be lighter and not
Yeah, did you-
cheaper.
But
Actually
did you
more
hear about
expensive.
that? That it's more expensive, but it's cheaper for them to produce. Did you hear about that? There was a
Interesting.
there was
Very
he was
interesting.
Australian, but there was a guy who did a teardown on it, and he was like, "Yeah, there's no way this was as more expensive. You know, there's no way this was as expensive even. Like this was probably cheaper to produce, and they're charging more for it. I think in most everywhere besides North America, or are we getting a price increase too? I can't remember.
I think we are.
I think
No,
we are.
no. Sorry, we're not. In North America, we're not. I
But
guess
everybody-
they decided
everybody
they were
else
too
is.
smart, and we'll see through it. Everyone else just
And we
screw
won't
them.
do it. We'll
what
just
they're
eBay
saying.
it.
God damn. So good.
Well,
What other awkward questions can I ask?
Let's see.
So we hear AYANEO and Retroid are the same company. Any
Oh,
comments?
God.
I saw that post. So stupid.
You saw that.
So here's the
Yeah.
here's the funny thing. First of all, there's no excuse for that.
Okay,
Like,
sure, I know.
so then when I asked about it, they're like, it's the fault of somebody else. So nobody said this in the post, so I can explain it now.
Yeah.
When you make the controller profiles for RetroArch, you have to use the identifying information from whatever controller you're using.
Yeah.
So you have the HID identifier, which is like a number, and then you have the vendor.
Right.
So you have the product vendor ID, and then you have the
Actual hardware ID.
sorry, you have the vendor ID and you have the product ID, and then you have the name of the product, right? So
Yeah.
all of those things for the Retroid Pocket 3 were made in October of last year because
Mhm.
I asked them to do it. So they made it. The problem was that they made it with the wrong vendor ID and the wrong product ID.
Mhm.
And you'd ask yourself, how the hell does the company not know their own product ID and vendor ID?
Right.
Well, so the answer to that question is they use some application that gives you a fake one, apparently, and it was never the right one. So because I even have devices from October that have not updated,
Yeah.
and the ID isn't right on those either. So I have no idea what they did. So that profile did work though, because as long as one of the things that you put there matches a device, you will get that profile. So the thing that it matched was the name of the controller, which was Retro Station Controller.
Mm-hmm.
So when you did online update, you would get it because it's the only one that you got a hit for. So when it came time to do, when Odin shipped out, somebody made another controller profile, but they did it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
They did it by making it in RetroArch and then uploading that profile. The problem is that the identifiers for the product ID and the vendor ID are the same for some fucking reason on the Retroid Pocket 3 and Odin,
Mm-hmm.
but not the same on the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus. Like, it has a different vendor ID and a different product ID.
Well, the 2 Plus.
So when you went to go update, you would get the AYN profile because now you have a match for two things. Instead of just one, you override it by getting a match for two.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've identified as an AYN device instead of the Retroid Pocket 3, which was made in October. But I fixed it. So, because I didn't think that they were going to do it. They're not competent enough. So I was just like, whatever. I went on.
The 2 Plus is still
I went
a
on
single
GitHub
board
and I just changed it
inside. It's still a single board. Because we did the teardown on the RP3, and this has like the exact same interior design aesthetic as the Odin, like with the daughter boards and the ribbon cable going under the battery and stuff. I mean, it's the same. To me, it's the same hardware designer, at least.
Yeah, we saw that it's the same person or the same computer that built.
So it has separate controller boards because I suggested that it had separate controller boards.
That's a great design. Although I have to say, we practiced the swap out on the live stream, and it's a pain. It's a pain to get.
It's stupid. You shouldn't do it
there.
No, it's completely stupid.
I was on with Stubbs the other night. We were talking about some production stuff, and I did his Retroid Pocket 2 Plus, right? I got a green shell, the jungle green shell, and put the components in. Did it in like 15 minutes, right? While we were talking. Man, we were on that live stream for well over an hour, and this was frustrating. It was frustrating to get done.
Yeah, I saw you actively get frustrated, and I've never seen that happen while you're modding consoles.
It just,
so I'm like, geez, what's going on with that?
The way that they did the buttons and stuff in it, with those pieces of foam that kind of sit around the board, right? Everything has to be in basically perfect alignment before you do anything else. Like it has to be perfectly in place, because if you try to even seat it a little bit with screws, and that piece of foam is above or below the motherboard, it's going to, or not, the daughter board, it's going to stick out at a weird angle. And so you have to make sure when you insert it, everything is perfect the first time. So
what foam are you talking about?
So on the buttons, right? On these exterior buttons, on the back side of them, there's a piece of foam that keeps the buttons aligned with the motherboard, right? So it clamps.
I've never seen that.
Clamps lightly around the motherboard like this, so the buttons stay aligned with the buttons on the motherboard. And if you take those out and put it back in, you have to make sure that the buttons, that piece of foam that's on the back side of the buttons, is around the daughter board, right? Like this. Otherwise, when you go to put in your screws,
so ABXY has that. Is that what you're talking about?
No, not ABXY, but like the volume buttons and the power button.
Show me. So on the back of that button,
right? On the back of that button, these buttons is a little piece of white foam that has to be aligned with the motherboard, or the daughter. I keep saying motherboard. The daughter boards for the controllers, right? And it clamps around it. Yeah, it was super frustrating. So
I can understand why they did it, but like, none of my devices have that.
Yeah, I totally get why they did it.
Something they added in later.
Yeah.
Well, could that be an indicator of being a newer warehouse stock then?
No.
Or a newer build? Everything we're buying now is from the old stock.
No. I mean, no, the old stock should be gone by now.
Okay.
But like, I've just never seen the thing that he's talking about.
Yeah.
But I can understand why. Having put together the ones that don't have it, I can understand why they would have done that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so they put those buttons in there on the little peg to keep them in there in a line. It was just because they put that foam on the back, I felt like I was warping some of the plastic of the buttons themselves. And so I was trying to be real careful, but I was sitting there thinking about somebody who's never done something like this before wanting to put the boards with the membranes in it, and I could really see how they would just give up at a certain point, you know.
Yeah, it's too much. I mean, I think I'm going to leave mine alone. The dome switches are okay. A lot of people seem to really like the domes. I have a feeling I'll probably prefer the mushy feel, but I like the D-pad staying.
So you're going to keep
tactile,
dome on the
clicky.
D-pad and then maybe go mushy.
That's
on
what
the
I'm
other
thinking. But not on this color, because again, this with the black buttons is not going to look great. It's
looks
going to
so
be
stupid.
It's going to look
Looks
it's going to
very
look
dumb.
stupid. So stupid. So the only one I would do it to is probably the orange or the black.
Yeah, the orange came
Which
with black buttons.
which again, those were not supposed to only be black. Like, yeah,
Right.
at no point was it was the idea like we're just gonna do black. That's
Yeah.
just like a cost
Well,
cost
I
thing.
think a lot of
like a
people
small
were-
amount of money to
no.
be able to make it in the other colors than just being like, no, we don't want to do that.
I think a lot of people were
It would have
hoping
been so
because
much better.
they asked David a lot about the fantastic colors coming to the RP3, right? But I think a lot of people were hoping that maybe there would be a situation where people could pick their colors, you know, for the buttons and for the case. But I think David said there was only going to be like a 50% chance that fantastic colors for the RP3 would be out by Christmas, something like that. So who knows?
I don't see how it can happen.
Really?
Like they have a transparent shell. Like I think I've showed what it looks like. It doesn't look good enough to be used. So
Okay.
That's too bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
that is
not
too
good
bad.
at doing transparent shells. Like on the scale of who's good and who's not, like, so the first AYANEO device has like a very nice transparent shell with basically no imperfections. Then the Odin shell is like dog shit. I don't like it at all. So that's the bottom, right?
The worst.
The transparent one in particular.
Yeah, it's very bad. It's really bad. Yeah, because they just fucked that thing up entirely. And so, like, in the middle of from the middle to the bottom, in the middle of that is the RP3 shell that is transparent right now. That would be used in whatever you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, not good.
Ah, shoot.
It's
Okay,
not
well, that's a bummer. Do you prefer the dome or the mushy buttons, the membrane buttons?
There we go.
I played the dome one for such a long time, and then when they finally made the rubber one, I was like, yeah, this one's much better. I don't want to use the dome one anymore.
Oh, okay. That's
and
fine.
I used the dome one for so long. I thought it was awesome. I was like, it's just like the Vita, like the button size, everything. It's just like the Vita. So if you like the Vita, like there's no reason for you not to like this.
Sure.
Like the feeling of the D-pad is almost exactly like the Vita. So there's this funny thing, like where people think that because it looks like a Vita D-pad, then it feels like a Vita D-pad. I've talked about this in videos before. Like there's some companies that use it a lot and it never feels anywhere close to it, but like the people never say that it doesn't feel like it. They're just like, it definitely does. It doesn't.
Right.
This one actually feels very close to it. If you have them side by side. I think you guys, one of you must own a Vita, right?
I have a
tell.
Vita around here somewhere. I could test it out later. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not exactly perfect.
There's the Vita D-pad can do like it can like, you know, move around a bit more, like down. Like once you press the button, it can move like a little bit more. There's like, you know, some extra movement there that nobody else really replicates very well. There, Thor's gonna get it.
I thought I might have a Vita in my desk here, but
I'd have to get into my.
It's over there.
I'd
No,
have to get in my drawers. Here, I'll pull it out. Hold on.
Yeah, you get it. That way I can talk about his legs. I was talking about his legs. Wait for him to swing back around here because he's always in those shorts, those damn dad shorts. Wait for it. Oh, he's still searching. Look at him go.
It's not organized.
No, well, just so people know that he has that many handhelds that he doesn't immediately know where Vita is, right?
Top left. It's got to be top left.
You think it's top left? He pulled something out. Did you see what it was?
No, it was yellow.
Oh, there it is. All right.
Okay. Here's my Vita 1000.
All right. So if you press that D-pad down enough to make it click, you should be able to press it a little bit more than that, where it can like, you know, swim a little bit. I don't know how to explain it.
So there's like a post-click travel, is what you're talking about?
Yeah, like yeah, very very subtle, very subtle. It can just move just a bit more after you press it down.
Okay, yeah, and I can
If you press it down and rock it side to side.
I can feel that on the RP3 a little bit too if I try.
Yeah, but it's more so on the Vita than it is on the RP3. But other devices, after you click, it's just a rock. You can't do anything at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Stubbs can say if he knows what I'm talking about.
Can you feel it, Stubbs?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of okay. I kind of sense that you get a little more travel out of the.
If you roll the D-pad on the Vita, it swims. It's like very fluid. I don't know how to. Yeah, it's really weird to explain because it.
No. The RP3 is kind of like chaotic in how you can move it. It doesn't.
Now,
swim.
If you have another device in your house that's not, Odin or this, then you can try to see if their Vita D-pad is anywhere close to the Vita.
You got the Win600.
And it shouldn't.
The Win600 is nowhere near.
No, definitely not the Win600.
The mushiest D-pad I've ever used. I like it, by the way, for D-pad gaming, but it's not, Vita-like.
Yeah, so anyways...
Okay. The Vita's way more controlled. I can sense that. It's more of a controlled, precise...
Yeah. So I have an RP3 that's modded by myself to feel exactly like the Vita.
I saw that.
Oh, nice.
And no, well, it looks like it, but the button itself actually is identical in feeling to the Vita. And really? I don't know that they did the things required to make it happen, but I know how to do it to make it feel the same. It's kind of like, it's a little ghetto to do it, but if you were chasing that, it is possible to make it look make it feel exactly the same.
Yeah, no, you should definitely put out a video or a quick tutorial on that. I bet I've seen a few people attempt it in the community.
That takes me back to the original RP2 days where people were shimming the analog sticks with paper and stuff. You remember that crap?
Right. Yeah.
And they started shipping with that little plastic spacer in it, so the sticks wouldn't wobble.
Right. The little spacer. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
God, the funny thing about that design is, if you think about the 3DS, like the 3DS cap cannot come off, right? Because it's locked around the frame. And for some reason, like they just decided not to do that for the RP2. But like if you can imagine if they had done that, then like all of that nonsense would not have happened.
Yeah. Well, people are still losing, and they talk about it a lot in our channels.
You can lose it so easy.
Yeah, they lose it so easily, and they're like, "Can I please just give somebody like $1 for a new one?" It's like, no, dude, you have to order it from China, man. No, sorry.
You do. It doesn't take too long, so people can.
Oh no, it doesn't take too long, but it's just oh man, I have to wait like 2 weeks to get a piece of plastic this big,
All right. I got the last awkward question I have recently it appears like Taki, your relationship with AYAN and Retroid both have been rocked. Has that been improved since then, or are things fine, or people are just spouting rumors and causing witchcraft?
I still do things for AYN to help them, like that you guys don't know about.
Yeah.
Kind of because I like feel bad, but for Retroid, I don't really. I mean, they just like douched the entire situation.
Oh,
yeah, like pretending like they didn't know that I was going to make the video. That was kind of like a low blow.
Yeah.
On their end,
it caused chaos. Everyone's wondering. Yeah,
it was
like, well, okay. What
it was
the hell's
total
going
bullshit.
on?
Like, because I have a message from the person saying it's okay for me to make the video and like they won't be angry, and then right away, look, they're angry and they're making up crap. Like, this is the thing that I try to tell people. Like, they're like, oh, you should have told us earlier. You should have told us earlier. So first of all, they have never shipped on the date that they said that they were going to ship for any of their products.
No,
it's true.
So even if I like all the stars aligned and my horoscope said, they are actually going to do it this time, post the video the day before for the maximum impact.
Right.
Like it wouldn't make any fucking sense because realistically the shipment would happen like 2 weeks from the date or a month from the date.
Yeah.
It would never be the actual date. It has never been the actual date.
Yeah,
So,
which is funny because still people rely on that date. They're like, okay, I'm going to wake up at this time on that date because they said,
yeah.
and it's every single time.
I mean, you're talking about the order date, but I'm talking about the shipment date.
Yeah.
The order date has always been like what they say, but the shipment date has never
never been
what they
Never,
say.
ever.
No,
Well,
it's always
still,
bullshit.
people still get excited to check their tracking and all that. I know KTR1's another famous example of missed deadlines. Just
Missed deadlines. What are you talking about? Acting like there's been a deadline, dude.
Why even place a deadline if you're going to miss it? That's
right.
That's all I'm
it's
saying.
been every single time. I mean, the originally started off as an SD845 device last year, and then it was supposed to be out in like
No. It was like a T618, and even before that, it was something else.
Well, he
This
promised
is like the third or fourth.
Oh, okay, because at one point he was telling me last
He
September,
showed a contract that he had of some solution provider for an 845. He called it the 845 Plus. He showed his contract. He was like, "Listen, guys, I got it this time. I signed the contract."
Okay.
And then, I mean, you can see the thing that I'm talking about online. It's on the internet.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, ran into some issues." I don't know. It's not as easy as he made it seem to make a device. It's very complicated. And when he originally started doing this, I was trying to tell people that. And he's like, "Oh, he's not a believer. He's like worried I'm going to kill his Odin." I'm like, dude, you're just like clowning right now. It's not that fucking simple to do this. Even the smallest thing can take a long time. The thing that I was talking about the yellow RP3 color, that was like 3 months of time.
Jeez.
Right there. Just that small thing that I explained. So any small thing can blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
it's
he's
so
showing
hard
off
to make
CNC
one of these
shells and stuff, and I'm like, because I understand that process really well as far as like taking a metal block and then putting a design in it and then anodizing it. That's a whole circus in production. I do that on a small scale myself, but doing that at a larger scale in an actual production facility, setting up your dies, setting up your CNC, making sure that it's color matched at all, is a huge pain in the butt. Huge. But I talked to him quite a bit about it and just trying to figure it out because we were still waiting for Odin stuff back then. And then there was like, oh, hey, there might be another 845 device in play here. Let's talk about it. And man, it's been a really long time coming, and so many changes to not just the motherboard design, but the SoC, the RAM configuration. Originally, it was supposed to have stacked shoulder buttons, and there were supposed to be 2 models with the stick and the D-pad reverse, which I think that came back, right? I don't know. It's been a whole.
If you want to make a device, you need to be able to do something important in the production, or you're just not going to be able to just do it successfully, outsourcing the entire thing.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
like I could pay to make the device that he's making right now.
Yeah,
but it would not be any easier for me to do it than it is for him. It's just a clusterfuck. And if you're working with people that don't know what they're doing, like the people that you're outsourcing it to, you're just gonna get fucked. Like there's just so many things that you can get fucked on.
Yeah, you can get fucked here, you can get fucked there, anywhere along in the chain, you can get fucked anywhere. We don't appreciate, I think, how much goes into these handhelds as consumers. I just, because we don't care. We want it to emulate, we wanted to play games on it, but we don't really think about the behind the scenes. And so here we are with our cash, just getting angry, like waiting. We want it like babies, throwing our credit card numbers at the screen.
But at the same time, we joke about Cheeto Steve, and we joke about really small
Cheetah Steve. His name's Cheetah Steve, and he lives in that painting.
But really small, stupid decisions that some of these companies make, and it's like, now wait a minute, you had the same problem on your last device, and you didn't make any changes. Come on now, come on.
We do see
it's
through
just
that.
You can say, so I know what company you're talking about, and I don't want to say anything bad
Soulja
about
Boy?
them.
We talking about Soulja Boy?
No, I'm not talking about
TRDR2.
But it's just like you think that they know what you care about, but they actually have no fucking idea what you care about. Even if you've said it, like, and it's been said, they have no idea. They're not like collecting the feedback to like reuse.
Yeah,
they're just not doing it.
Yeah,
like so people get like disappointed that they see something that they pointed out was, fucked up before and it's still fucked up now. But it's just like they just don't care enough to even collect the feedback to try to improve it.
That's too bad.
Because they don't even know that they should.
Really?
Yeah.
Are we specifically talking about single channel RAM on the Win600 still?
No.
Is that what
No.
we're talking about here?
I was just like, I was talking about the Cheeto Steve.
Oh yeah, how they messes up every handheld.
Yeah, I was talking about Cheeto Steve.
Yeah,
but the Win600 thing is just funny.
It is
because I think Fox said afterwards that he also told them, because they sent him testing stuff and he told them, definitely do dual channel, and they were like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, I went back after that whole like shit happened. So just to like bring it back, like in January of last year, we all got together. They came to where I live and they wanted to have a meeting to talk about stuff. And one of the things that they want to talk about was making that device. And they're like, do you think we should do it? And I was like, yeah, I think you should do it. If you can, under $300, this is a good processor to pick. I gave them the processor. And then they were like, okay, cool. We don't know a lot about it. So, if we have any questions, we'll ask you about it. And then they, fast forward a couple months, they were like testing it. I saw like videos of their tester testing it. And he was testing it on like an off the shelf like computer that you can buy.
Right.
And I went back to see if that computer had a single slot of RAM or if it had a two. Because if they were only testing with one slot, they might think like this is the best this thing can do because it's the only thing that we've been able to see it do.
Yeah.
And then they mass produced their own board with it, and then it was too late for them to figure out like the whole thing's fucked because it needs two slots. That's what I think happened.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Because the original board that he tested only had one slot. And
that's
they're not like the things that are like commonplace to people like us that grew up with these computers readily available. It didn't happen here. So it's not like in the zeitgeist. Like a lot of things you think are commonplace are not commonplace in China.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And it's a bummer because we have a third SKU out, the blue one, the ultimate with, extra RAM, extra memory.
So it sounds like they learned a lesson here, right? Like,
what was the lesson?
For the Win600, I mean, Stubbs?
Did they learn a lesson? Well, not from the first two SKUs to the third SKU, but maybe for the next gen of the product. That's where we'll see if they learn something. If they're going to put in dual channel RAM, a better CPU, move those damn joysticks, so they're a little more comfy. But on this SKU, no, nobody wants a terabyte. Nobody asked for a terabyte of storage on it. 512 would have been fine for a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
Despite all that, I am a shill for the Win600 because I like it for D-pad indie gaming specifically, and I'm okay with keeping it at low TDPs for that kind of stuff. Therefore, battery lasts a long time.
Eternally.
Well, if they don't divide by zero, if they don't divide by zero, the Loki Zero is a much better device with that processor.
Like, I agree if it happens, but
knowing
it's just
the things that you guys don't know, there's no way you'll use the Win600 after. After the Loki Zero is released, you will never touch that device.
Tell me, but you're being hype king right now. I want to know
if they don't divide by zero, which is like a big if. It's in the air right now.
What do you mean by
if they don't divide by zero?
I still have my Loki Mini Pro on order, so
I canceled all my Loki orders until I see a prototype. Well, yeah, I got to free up a little fundage for some of the other devices coming out, and it seems like the Loki's still like Q4 2023 or at earliest. And so I'm
Q4 2023.
That's what it feels like to me, man. I'm placing my bets right now that I'm not going to see it in my hands until that time. So I'll reback. I told Nicole, I was like, I'm going to reback this in a while, but for now I pulled out of the Loki game.
I still have my Mini
I
Pro
don't think they really care if people back out or not because they can't get that money unless they ship the product. So it doesn't do anything to them.
I need something.
But they're also not like motivated by it either, it seems, because they're not doing any advertising.
Well, and that's why I need something tangible. Show me a prototype. I'd want them to put something up on their channel or give you a product or whoever and show me something to make me feel confident to back it. Because I don't want to drop $800 on a Loki Max all maxed out right now when I really don't think that one's going to come out until, again, end of next year. It's just a long time to tie up $800. At least with Steam Deck, they said, okay, it's going to be a year. And then it was, and it's fine. And you don't have to pay until it's time to ship.
Right.
Which I know Loki and AYN gave you that option, the reserve option, but you don't get it for as good of a deal. You don't get the coupons and all that nonsense. And so, I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. How do you feel, Taki?
It's just a much better device.
Is it? Yeah.
Significant. Yeah, everything. Every conceivable aspect on the Zero versus the Win600 is better on the Zero. Everything. Every component.
Is it going to be thick, though? As thick as this?
Thick.
Or going to be in a thinner shell?
It is a significantly better product than that.
But it has to exist. That's the thing. And I concede to that because
it exists more for me than it does for you. But
I understand that
for the Loki shells and stuff. Are they reusing the Odin shells? Is it going to be essentially the same but with a motherboard swap? I haven't even really thought about that.
No, I think the Zero uses the 20 millimeter shell. So it can't be.
Okay.
I know there was like a whole to do about like the Odin, the Loki Max having an 11 millimeter shell, and I was like, who the fuck would have ever thought that you could
Nobody would.
Yeah, because even Odin is 15 millimeters. So how could you get a 6800 inside an 11 millimeter shell with a 45 watt hour battery? Like, you should know that's bullshit.
Yeah,
trying to figure this out here. Yeah.
No, it's just like significantly better. Everything is better.
Well, that's good. I
will be buying all the SKUs as
like
soon as I see something in action.
Yeah, you will. You totally will. I'm still like mentally disconnected on the x86 handhelds, right? Because I want that ARM efficiency and I want that huge battery life like we got with the Odin Pro and the Odin Base, right? But there's something coming with this x86 stuff. The Steam Deck kind of lit the fire, and I think maybe by the time we're ready for Steam Deck 2, or maybe even like some of the Loki stuff, we might finally have like the one handheld that Windows or Linux users might actually want, right? What do you guys think about that? Are we gonna have the Uno?
I think if the exclusivity of Windows on ARM is over now, so MTK is starting to do their Windows on ARM. Yeah. I think once more companies are doing it, not just Qualcomm, then it would be on an ARM chip.
I'm excited for that. I mean, I haven't used
wouldn't
Windows.
Be on x86.
Yeah.
Well, we know that 32-bit games run really well on ARM64 stuff, right? But some of those more modern games still need to be compiled for ARM64. So hopefully game developers kind of pick up on that as Windows on ARM support continues to grow. Hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, Project Valhalla definitely set a precedent that it's possible and it works. It's just not fully compatible with everything you might want to play.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But my mind this week has been on Batacera. That's an operating system I'm just now getting into. Taki, do you ever use that one or test it?
I've used it, but I don't use it on any device now.
What's your go-to Linux OS for these devices? I
mean, depend on which device.
Fair. All right. Let's go with I don't know, the 552
Win600.
Usually Emulec. I think Emulec is. Yeah. But on an x86 device, I don't use outside of the Steam Deck. I just use Windows.
Okay. Yeah. In general, you're going to get better performance. Except for emulation, it seems like Emulec is better. Batacera is getting better something. Low overhead. That's the key
for x86. I just always stick with Windows because it's just less of annoying crap to deal with.
It is.
Yeah.
Once something goes wrong, then it's just like a total time sink to get it to work again.
Yeah,
right.
There is that
you get
Linux
full control over your
cascade
TDP
of errors. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
where you have to get the terminal out in the desktop mode and sit there and Google and Google and Google and try to find the right command.
Google. Use your Google foo to fix it.
Right. Man, that's something that I guess that's my only real current disappointment with the Steam Deck is the Windows support still isn't there. man, I was really hoping that at one point that we would just have like that full driver compatibility and everything like that, and that people would be able to install Windows really easily and play their AAA games on it and stuff without having to deal with some of the Linux weirdness. Which Proton's great, all that compatibility stuff is great, but it's still a compatibility layer and not direct compatibility. I don't know.
I don't even know if it worked completely with no hiccups that I would even want to install Windows on the Steam Deck, which is not something that I thought I would do. Yeah, because like when it came out, I was like, I'm just going to install Windows on this.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm like, why would I do that? It's just so much easier just to use this ecosystem that I already like.
Yeah.
And it can do all of the things that I want.
Well,
and like you say, it's getting better all the time.
Crazy?
No, not trying to do anything crazy.
Well, you never know. People are
you have
really...
like some 4exit like tax like a stock system going on. You're like, I gotta run it on my Steam Deck.
People are really working on
a picture of
PS3 emulation. It's a little Rorschach test.
What the hell?
What does it look like to you, Taki?
Just what do you see? What do you see in this photo? Just I've been asking people this. Sorry, on recently.
It's an owl on top of a cup.
Of a cup.
Owl.
Okay. Yeah.
Owl. He's got the owl. Okay.
He got the
Seems
owl.
like everyone does agree it's an owl, but I haven't heard the cup before.
I thought it was
an owl on a cup.
We originally thought it was a gnome pooping or something like that.
I thought it was a gnome pooping.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. We had a patron.
A gnome pooping.
we had a patron mail this to me with something that I had purchased in Marketplace, and he's been making me ASCII art. I do have a gnome an ASCII gnome around here somewhere. Anyways, I've been trying to interpret what this was, and he won't tell me. So
it's an owl.
I think it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's a good owl.
It's an owl delivering a letter, right?
That's an owl delivering a letter. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it is delivering a letter because you got the package.
Oh,
there you go.
J-Lash, shout out to J-Lash. Thank you. We figured it out.
Like the
it is
Gmail
an owl
icon
delivering a letter. I'm happy to put that to bed finally. What a harrowing week. I don't know, guys. Well, all right. Enough handheld business stuff. What else is going on? Taki, what have you been doing for fun? You went on vacation recently.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. After the RP3 went on sale, I kind of just was like, all right, vacation time.
You need to get out of here.
Yeah. So I was gone for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It was glorious.
No videos?
No videos. Nothing. I didn't work on shit. It was perfect.
Wow.
Good.
Hey, are you going to take more vacations now that you've sort of tasted that life, or are you going to double down?
No, it's not productive enough. It's really hard to come back from. It's really hard to like get back in the swing of doing stuff
Once
after you do that. But it was cool.
Good,
yeah, I mean,
man. Did you get a good mental health break? I guess.
Yeah, that's what's important.
It was so nice.
Good.
That's how I did like most of the games, like the God of War thing that I was just talking about.
Yeah.
Was during that time. Yeah. And I would never have time to do that stuff.
That's cool. And you like to hang with
the people that make more videos than I do on a regular basis. Like, there's no way in the world that they have time to actually play games. Like, it's so time consuming.
I'm noticing that myself.
Yeah. So Stubbs started doing like a daily news segment with one of our producers, Damien, and man, you spend a lot of time working on that stuff, dude. I'm
it's
impressed.
Taking more time than I thought.
Yeah.
To do the video every day. Well, every weekday we're doing Monday through Friday, 10 minutes of retro gaming news, and just the editing and the voiceover and everything that goes into it. I'm spending 3 to 4 hours on it a day, and it's exhausting. And I can't even imagine like you and Russ, you guys put probably 20 hours or more into every video because you have to do like half an hour of content. It's just freaking.
I saw the TRDR2 shit.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, this guy's such a clown.
I can't believe that.
Yeah,
I have no idea what they're doing, to be honest. Like, nobody got the first one, so is it just like copacetic to just steal all that money and then not have any repercussions and then be able to do a second one?
I mean, is that how that played out? I mean, literally nobody got one, right?
Yeah, nobody got one. Nobody got one.
Yeah.
Nobody did.
You know. Interestingly enough, like the few people that did get one were like 4 reviewers. Retro Dodo actually offered to send me his one. I was
Did
like,
he really?
Thanks, dude. Like, yeah, but I only needed him to take a picture on the inside to see if the mold markings were the same as the RP2, as the RP1.
As the RP1, yeah.
But
That would have been funny.
But he was like, if you want, I can send it to you. And I was like, no, it's cool. I just need. And he took it apart and like took all the pictures. Like he took a lot of pictures too. I was like, thanks, man.
Wow.
And did it? Did
Just to
the
see
mold
what's
markings
inside
match?
that.
They did not match.
They did not match. Okay.
Huh.
But that doesn't, I still to this day believe that the person who made the mold for that ended up selling either a prototype of that mold or just like cloned the mold and then sold it to those guys, because there's too many things that are like exactly the same.
Yeah.
Or
it's eerie.
Or so my original idea was you start with one and you can make the other one. So when you have a mold, you can make the plastic bigger in whatever you're going to inject, but you can never make it smaller, or you can make it smaller, but it's really costly and it might not work.
Yeah.
So if you compare the RP1 to the TRDR, their device is bigger. Like it grew in size.
A little bit.
So you could go from the original mold to the TRDR mold. And I told Retroid, I was like, this fucker just like sold your mold. Like, ask him right now to take a picture of it. I don't even think that it exists. Like,
Wow.
Ask him right now to take a picture of this mold
that.
to prove. And this guy was all like, very angry. I was like, there's no way he didn't do something, because
Yeah.
they couldn't get this as fast as they got it unless this is what happened.
Yeah.
And he took a picture of the mold, and it wasn't conclusive. So I still think that he did. I still think that he did that. So you would think after you make a mold that you own it. Like you do own it, but so like let's say like Thor owns like a big company and he makes like a bunch of like, I don't know, plastic toy cars.
Not
the
far
factory
off.
that injects those things has the mold there. It's a huge block.
Yeah.
Like really heavy, huge block. So if Thor's not going to make that car anymore, but he owns the IP for it and the trademark and all that stuff, it would be in Thor's best interest to own that block physically so he can watch it, or destroy it so nobody can do anything with it. But like, they don't do that here. They just leave the blocks in the factory.
Oh.
Huh. Oh,
so like those factory bosses can just like sell it to somebody else as long as it's not damaged. Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
That does suck.
It seemed like there'd be someone in control who notices this.
That's in my mind. I was like, okay, you just own it, right? Like it's in your you keep it. And like, no, it's too big. I was like, what do you mean it's too big? You invested so much money in this.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like Valve has
those
molds
are
here
so
in
big.
China somewhere. Yeah.
Especially when
somebody
you're doing
could use
multi-shell. I mean, like
somebody could take it.
A mold for a front, back, and 8 RP3s would be pretty substantial, at a time. I don't know how many they actually produce at a time, but I assume at least that much.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's just one.
Really? Just
but
one at a
the
time?
process is just like very fast. Like if you actually see it happen, it's just
they
like
run the
shoot
water
it in,
cooling through it.
boom. Yeah. Shoot it in, boom. Shoot it in, boom.
Oh, that's pretty cool to know.
Yeah. So let me
one
ask
thing
you
with
this.
the
Oh, go ahead, bud.
Well, one thing with the TRDR2 is that they took Soulja Boy's name off it finally. So now they're releasing just
there's
the
that.
TRDR, which I call the Turder or the Tartar.
The Turder.
It has the P60 in it. I'm sure it's a scam because I have one friend who ordered Jim Gray. He ordered a TRDR, never got it. Finally got a refund from the owner of the company after he was like, yeah, I'm going to send it. Never got it. I don't know what the hell happened. I suggest nobody give your money to these people.
Well, that's what I was going to ask too about the TRDR, Taki. If you saw did you see a picture of the actual motherboard and stuff, or just the shell?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
I was curious if they
their
actually
motherboard
had the specs that they claimed it did.
Yeah, they did. So they have a board, and then they have like a SOM module for the P60, and they just ghetto soldered it onto the board. It's really like low effort. You couldn't use it for mass production.
Yeah, that's too bad.
It's soldered by hand.
Yeah,
like,
they ball soldered the SoC with like a infrared or something.
No, they ball soldered the module. The module has the SoC on it.
Module. I got you. Okay, I see what you're saying.
And it's like really ghetto soldering, like all around. It's not done by any robot or anything.
Yeah. Somebody sitting there with
It's
a
a scam, though.
soldering iron. Yeah, that's too bad.
Oh my God, TRDR chat just responded to me finally after 4 days. I was asking them which turtle is the best to buy, and owner just responded, I'm guessing, with I'm sorry, what do you mean by turtle? I wrote TURRDURR.
Oh man,
Like the handheld you're selling, the Turtle Pocket too. I live for this. I'm sorry, I'm a troll. Good times, man. Good freaking times. We are just on the cusp of a whole bunch of new bullshit handhelds, as well as some really cool ones.
Yeah.
So I want the AYANEO Air Plus. That's the one that I'm looking forward to. A lower cost Air, because Aya can't seem to keep their hands out of the high end market, and I want something that competes with Loki Zero.
Well, they just did the huge presentation on the Geek.
I saw that, but that's a chunky.
I don't
boy.
understand the Geek too much because there's there's AYANEO 2, then there's AYANEO 2 Geek, then there's Aya Geek. Like, so there's 2 geeks. But whatever, they have a transparent one again, and they finally and they've done it already successfully before. So like this will be the second time, hopefully, and that's the one that I want to use because I like the transparent Founders Edition.
I mean, I'm gonna probably pick one up if they can. I want a fun color. That's what I want.
You want a fun
I
color?
only saw the white, and I think the black.
Yeah, I get that companies are really bad at the fantastic clears and stuff like that, but man, people love them so much. Oh my gosh, we love them so much. Just being able to see components and it's watermelon red and stuff. Oh, come on, give me more.
I don't think the RP2 in the fantastic colors was that popular because they had stock for a while before it was just completely taken away.
Well, they didn't bother selling any of them for the 2 Plus, which I was surprised at. They only had those set colors, but considering
that's actually not a bad thing.
Oh yeah,
that's not a bad thing. Yeah, because the whole thing that I talked about with the the factory doing the yellow thing, it's a significantly worse situation to make those fantastic things. So you might want it, but like that's not like necessarily a good thing.
Yeah.
But why is David saying there's a 50% chance?
Because it's yes or no. Like that's 50%, right?
Yeah,
it's yes
it's a coin
or
flip,
it's no.
dude.
But it
seems
it's
yes or no.
It seems like there's more of a skew to no. So it's like a 75-25 situation.
I actually don't know what they would do this time. There's a way to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And then there's a way to do it so that way you can get it done. And the RP2 was the way to get it done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I hope the way that Aya is doing it is the way to do it the right way.
Good.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Last question I have for you before we kind of wrap up. Which handheld are you hyped for now? What's the one you're most looking forward to coming out across x86, Android, whatever?
So for Android, it would probably be the one that I talked about at the beginning of this video that hasn't been released yet.
Announced yet.
Yeah. For x86, it would probably be the Steam Deck 2 because now Valve has enough money to.
Right. Yeah.
So what happens with AMD? I talked to a company about this.
Get that cut down
2 days ago. Yeah, I talked to a company about this 2 days ago that had done something like what Valve did, where they had exclusive access to a chip, and they paid a ton of money to get it.
Yeah,
and it ultimately didn't end up working out for them. So what happens is Valve, AMD has a processor and it's an exclusive one. You can use it, but you have to be able to spend a certain amount of money to be able to get it initially. And you have to have enough sales to be able to guarantee that you have it for its life.
Yeah.
This company had enough money to buy it initially, but they didn't have enough money to get it for its life. So they lost the exclusivity of it, and then anybody could get it. But they did have the same kind of situation that Valve has now. They had a custom AMD processor that nobody else had with the same GPU that's inside the consoles. And then they ended up just losing a ton of money. And I think Mochi had the same situation too, but just a few years earlier than that.
Well, okay. That's good to know. I think We will, on that note, start to head out here. Taki, people can find you at youtube.com/Taki Udon. You're up to 188,000 subs now, so you're on the brink of 200K. So
on the brink,
just
it's right there.
You are so close to that. Is that you already have 15K in Taki too as well? Jeez.
So add them together, right?
That's right.
So add them together, and you're already over 200K total. We're gonna call it 200K. Anyways, man, people can find you on YouTube and on your Discord. We'll put links in the description. Anything else that you want to promote or let people know about today?
I have a very big project that I am working on right now that I can't talk about. I've talked about some stuff, around it in this video, in this podcast that we're doing. And I'm super excited about it. Nobody's ever done it. And I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. And it's
a new venture
going to start happening hopefully in the next month or so.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, we'll be on the lookout for that mystery
new hotness. Yep. We, as well, too, we'll promote ourselves. We have a new hotness, Thor. We haven't mentioned this to anybody on the podcast yet. But there's a new server. We made a brother of RH called Control Alt Hype, which is basically a modern gaming brother of RH.
Exactly. We're going to be doing something very
channel
similar
setup
with what Stubbs and Damien have been doing with daily news, but we're reaching out into modern gaming. So this would be a great place to talk about God of War Ragnarok when it comes out.
All the
we'll
new stuff.
Be doing news,
stuff I don't care about as much.
Right. We'll be doing tech, like modern video cards and that kind of stuff. So it'll be a lot of fun. It's called Control Alt Hype. Check out the links in RH if you're interested, and come talk with us. Come hang out.
ControlAltHype.com, Reddit. /r/
You already got the website?
Yeah. Got the website, got the Reddit.
Website, baby. I got the TikTok, got the Instagram, got the Twitter, got the whole deal.
That's doing all the things. I'm going to promo the hell out of it.
Heck yeah.
Stoked that we are branching out and doing some more things.
So make sure you follow so you can see Thor doing some dances on Instagram.
Some dances, and,
TikTok.
Yeah,
I want to see that.
All right. Dad dances, Midwest dad dances. Oh my god.
All right, guys. Well, so you know where to find us and do our things, all that good stuff. Taki, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, man. Great talking with you again.
Thanks for joining us, and we will we'll see you on the next one.
See ya
later, bud.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.